in our second best of 3 of the night.
Second best of 3 indeed. I mean, it's got to be a bit of a showing, right? I feel like I have an inkling in my bones, Dan, that this might go the distance as we now head straight into the picks and bans. And the Jeff hovers are true. You know, I feel like everyone's inspired with what we saw during the mid-season finals in terms of a terrific Jeff and those insane 4 KOs, just throwing people off maps. I mean, it's beautiful, inspirational.
Yeah, but Jeff is cool and all, but look at RocketUniversity repping their mascot. Look at them all. 5 rocket hovers. Why? My big question is, why is Sangshin not joining in? We need a full line of just 6 rockets. We need that mascot representation, you know?
You need a president somewhere. You need someone to anchor the university down, and that's precisely what a Penny might do as we move into the picks and bans straight off the bat. OEG, you know, locking out that Luna, picking it for themselves. RocketUniversity does the same thing with the Mantis, and right off the cuff again, it's going to be strategists on the chopping block.
Yeah. Mantis going to be locked in for RocketUniversity. Luna will be locked on the flip side for OEG. And in this draft so far, there has been a heavy emphasis on these strategists and a wild Captain America getting banned as well.
Yep, we've got the lock-in with the Human Torch that has seen such impact, that can play all levels of roles supporting the team, be it a dive, long-range poke, or even a bit of a you know, just a supporting character, making sure your backline doesn't get harassed, area denial. There's so much that can be worked with, both of them locking that Human Torch in. So we're about to see some flame-ons sooner than later.
Oh, and both sides will also take away the Captain America. That has been...
Pick your hero. Or villain.
I wouldn't say a sleeper pick, but also a very... it's just a very strong pick, right? You just go right in. You're just near impossible to take down with the shield. All that mobility as well. And both teams are acknowledging the threat that Captain America can provide, especially with that sustained ultimate coming in with the Freedom Charge, just keeping everyone alive. It's just another ultimate that is a game changer when it comes to these fights. And both teams, they know they don't want to deal with that as we head our way into the lands of Wakanda for map 1.
I do know that, you know, on the Marvel Rivals Asia community, there's huge hype around a Penny Parker. And with the team up with Rocket Raccoon and with the team rocking the RocketUniversity name, I would be interesting to see what kind of compositions they may be working around a bit more. Don't be fooled by what you see here in the time countdown, because it continues to always evade us. It's just people boosting their armor packs. Don't worry about it.
Hey, you never know. RocketUniversity could honestly pull out the Penny Parker when it gets buffed in Season 4.0. Keep in mind, we are still playing on the Season 3.5 patch, at least for this first week here in the Asia region. So no Penny Parker buff, no Luna Snow nerf just yet.
No, not just yet indeed. So we'll be playing on the old patch. Whereas you folks, the live Marvel Rivals players, will be, you know, getting yourself into Season 4 by tomorrow. As it looks like RocketUniversity, they couldn't even step out the door. They couldn't get their grades whatsoever. OEG are able to just start their timer running, and holy, the jump, the ultra jump from the Groot. Will they make it alive? That is a no. Little Vex says
I don't think
your games ain't good enough for it.
Yeah, I don't think Sangshin was aware that he had the rocket jump. Probably spammed the spacebar a little too hard, and that just sent him flying, and ultimately to his demise. And so is the rest of RocketUniversity. They will fall alongside Sangshin.
Sentinels. We talked about these stacks, these sparks coming in so strong for a great aimer such as Sentinel right now. To be able to just clean up shop. Final 4 characters falling to their demise, and now pushing the advantage is important, right? You want to be able to build your ultimate as quickly as possible. You know, I'm just looking at the likes of the Invisible Woman as well as possibly a Phoenix. We'll have to see as this team fight erupts once again.
Yeah, Kraken Impact available for Nunu on OEG. Rocket University still waiting for their ultimates to come back online as OEG are going to be on the offensive, but Soul Resurgence on the side of Rocket University is going to be popped as the meteor lands and denies any more resurgence coming in from Rocket University. But will their souls be taken away as well? We will see after this Fate of Both Worlds will be popped on the side of Sui as the rest of Rocket University desperately trying to stay afloat on this site.
Yeah, they're trying to buy time indeed. Now it's going to be a Wingskirt coming out from the portal. That's a desperation attempt. But immediately,
Oh my gosh, the
it's
Strangling
going to be
Prison.
Rocket University finding some space, right? With so much pressure from the side of Nyx. It's another NX player high in the sky making a name for themselves.
Yeah, the Strange Ultimate coming in was just able to help Rocket University regroup. They did get staggered for a little bit, but the Strange Portal does regroup them back. And with a great multi-man Strangling Prison coming in from Samshin, it's all it took for Rocket University to complete the retake.
Supernova will start things off, right? You want to catch your opponents off guard, not let them kind of get their footing under themselves with some great placements of the Supernova, the boundaries. Just able to protect Nurks a little bit more with a bit of sustain. It just buys them a bit more time, to be honest. But now OEG looking to do the same thing that Rocket University did, right? Take the underling, take the underfoot, and bring the fight to them.
Us against the world.
But the Eternal Bond will make things a little bit easier, but an immediate response. Both Poké Daggers dashing around on the site. Here comes that Kraken Impact as well. That domino effect will start to go down as Wilbeck pops the meteor, but doesn't find the mark as two go in favor of Rocket University, making a third, but only one member of Rocket University goes down as OEG are not able to complete the retake as Rocket will keep on holding.
Oh, the stagger as well onto Little Vex. That's not what you want, seeing that Rocket University are already at 70%. Zhang, having done so much right now as a group, will have to do more as right now comes in to isolate Wizard! And isolate they do! Hella out of action!
Great pick coming in from OEG. Now it's their turn. They have the full advantage coming in. They have the chance to come back. Strangling Prison gonna get denied by the Fate of Both Worlds as OEG start to get up that meter. They almost get it, but they are not gonna get it just yet as Sentinel is able to just rain down hell onto NRX. He will be thrown to the sidelines as OEG light up the feed, but Winsker will respond. But Rocket University, look at their vitals, their health so low, and they will hit 0.
Wow.
I mean, at the final corner, they do overtime now. POVS is gonna have to be Nurks to do everything to slam down onto the site to just deny this overtime.
I don't think it's gonna
with
work.
A precise shot to the heart, and that Human Torch is out of action.
Great showing from both teams, OEG and Rocket University, taking turns on the site, going left and right, push and pull, tug of war action. But in the end, it is OEG who get their line, their rope over onto their side, and will take that first round.
I mean, yeah, the supporting cast from the side of OEG, those strategists providing so much value with some well-timed Eternal Bonds, as well as I'm looking at Sentinel, right? The opening kind of sparks that just lit up the field within those first few seconds, and the closing statements as well to push Nurks right off that point. That's a player to look out for.
The battle starts in
Teams
5, 4,
have a bit of
3,
breathing room.
2.
This game in general is very, very fast. And now we head into the second round. It's going to be waterfall. A lot of ways you can get around the map. So much terrain you can control. And we will see how they play around this map. It is domination, so it's very, very small.
It is indeed. Here we go. Nurks with the Supernova being topped up to try and isolate and force OEG squads back into their hole. Trying to maybe have to drain away and trigger some additional cooldowns. Rocket Raccoon now turning the script onto OEG, stealing away this map early on.
NRX doing a good job with the Supernova, just zone away OEG, and they will take the site and start stacking up that charge. But now OEG, they have to respond. Here we go, Kraken Impact, making a double. He does it again, but can he find more? It doesn't seem like it landed on the mark, but Mission NRX just cleans up house. Kraken Impact be damned. That was the start of it. And the rest of Rocket finish it.
A little C&D action right there for us to view. It's beautiful when you have the advantage, just pressing within your Eternal Bond, all healed up, just holding that damage button down. Now repositioning Rocket University, understand, hey, this high ground is important as the map shifts just a little bit.
They're gonna get the
maybe
jump.
Get the drop onto OEG, not wanting to overcommit just yet. It is objective place, got to play the point.
Keep in mind, Rocket University, after hitting that fight, they get straight to work, controlling the terrain in their favor, using the pillars to get towards that high ground. So even in the highest level, you still have work to do, even if there's no action going on. But OEG will find action for themselves. They will take the site.
They will indeed. Expensive though. I think 3 ultimates expended from their perspective. Right, the Emma Frost, the Phoenix, plus the Luna Snow as well. So the Hail Mary, the saving grace right now is that Groot does have the Strangling Prison online on both sides. Plus Adeline with their own as well. Silent Seduction. So it might be a bit of a fiasco as we're able to isolate the Groot with some beautiful pulls, and Ninimu able to deliver. Starting his speed lights up, and Blue OEG are smattering. They're throwing everything back at Rocket University. It's time for them to go back to school.
Yeah, the feed glows blue, but OEG see red as they take away any sort of advantage that Rocket University had. 65 to Rocket University's name as OEG are closing the gap. But look at Rocket, they're coming in from the high ground.
You've captured more than
Position
half
fast though. It's gonna be a lot of ultimates coming in. Rocket University with the advantage, and we start off with that Supernova. We saw this in the previous matchup, just denying line of sight for OEG, just controlling this map space, and immediately this map taken. OEG want a game plan. They want to move in together.
Yeah, OEG completely respect NRX's ultimate. They just happily walk away. And as those tornadoes expire, it looks like the blender of Rocket University will start whirring away. But it's a 1-1 trade in the end, as both of these strategies ultimates are going to be used. Strangling Prison once again denied by the Fate of Both Worlds, as OEG looks to get the upper hand, as the Fate of Both Worlds still causing havoc. And Ninimu with a double. Kraken Impact can't quite find the reset. He won't find it. He goes for it again. And OEG take over again.
I mean, Ninimu is so disastrously on this pick, right? The pulls that come in to isolate the Groots. That was Sanji, who's now hopped onto the Doctor Strange, likely portal play that we're going to be hearing from the top side on the opposite side of the map. Trying to keep control of this high ground just the same to allow a bit of security for their strategists as they make their way onside.
Wilvex makes it onto the site just in time with the Silent Seduction. Ninimu still untouched, still undetected. But as he finds the pick onto NRX, that might be the map-winning pick. We'll see as this fight keeps on going. NRX finally respawns as a double stun comes in. And Lil Vex just laying down the hurt. This Groot causing so much chaos. The overtime meter is about to fall down. Great shot coming from Ninimu. And it's going to be map number 1 going over to OEG Esports.
Oh man, that Bucky, Ninimu, just turned up and shut it down towards that tail end of the Waterfalls map. I mean, it was phenomenal. And understanding the win con at that last possible moment, right? Playing back a little bit, not wanting to overcommit into the invisible boundaries. Survival was key, and once all those expired, it was just the Groot making their way onto the site, onto the backline. Livix able to just clean up shop. I mean, 16 final hits is little Vix. That is phenomenal to boot.
Yeah, especially on the Vanguard. But then again, Groot is one of those higher DPS vanguards in Marvel Rivals, and Lil Vex shows us why this Groot pick is still a very, very strong pickup here. And not to mention, Ninimu with honestly was probably the game-winning pick onto NRX at that final fight. NRX just wasn't able to get inside of that invisible boundary, try to get himself alive. And honestly, despite sometimes OEG being all over the place, getting caught off guard by Rocket University's positioning tactics, they still looked very, very together. They were in sync.
They were in sync, you know? It's like Sanshin, 36k damage block. That is a phenomenal amount, considering, you know, this is just a domination match. It's very quickly over before you know it, but it's about trying to rally around it, right? We think about the isolation picks against like Winsker on the Hela being taken out so quickly. And those are those small key important points to understand. Hey, at a moment's notice, the tides can turn, and yeah, maybe you do some a good repositioning around the map like Waterfall. That's probably the map with the most kind of terrain changes and angles that you can play around. But you gotta play together as your team, and getting those early picks out from your team just doesn't quite cut it.
Yeah, there was so much discipline coming out of OEG, right? You saw it right there during one of those fights. What's it called? Rocket using their supernova from NRX to try to zone away OEG, and OEG, they were fine with it. They were just like, okay, you're just gonna use the supernova. All right, we'll just wait for the tornadoes to go away. You kind of threw them all into one choke hold, and yeah, we'll just lay back, and then we'll slam you as soon as it's over.
Indeed, you know, NRX, Winsker, I think they did a fair bit during that point number 1 of the domination, but you gotta sustain it a little bit more. Not a lot of final hits to their name, unfortunately. Couldn't really work around the map terrain, perhaps. Or it could also be that OEG just were a bit too together from that perspective, able to thwart any action, especially with some beautiful, like, you know, isolations that we talked about. Is that Doctor Strange portal? It's the Bucky pull onto the Groot. All of these just break things apart for Rocket University. So being a bit more aware and thinking about, okay, moving into map 2. Now map 1's done and dusted. What kind of picks and bans are you thinking about?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of different options being thrown around. Human Torch definitely did work out for both of these teams. I'd assumed they'd want to hold on to those picks for now, but now the question mark would be the Bucky. But then again, that is also probably a stronger pick on those smaller end maps like Domination, where, you know, there's a designated zone where the Kraken Impact is able to get a great chunk of value. So I don't know if Bucky will be that highly prioritized. So really goes down to, do they want to ban out strategists, or do they want to ban out vanguards?
Oh, yeah, that's the ultimate question, you know. I Meteor M, always a very powerful counter from that perspective. We didn't see that. In fact, both these teams kind of thought, okay, maybe it might be a dive comp that my opponents might be running. That's why the Captain America came out as that as that ban towards the second half of the pick and ban phase. And so that might completely go out the window, you know. Also kind of depends on what Rocket University choose in terms of map. So we'll kind of have to see as they kind of go back to their corners and rethink their strategy. We'll give them some time before we head into a map 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Trapping all those fighting souls, but yet across the world. relentlessly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon. And I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you
Welcome back to another round of Marvel Rivals Ignite here in the Asia scene. Will OEG Esports be able to clutch up and push us into a quick 2-0, or will Rocket University send them back to school and force a map 3? We've got a couple of game modes ahead of us. What are you wanting to see here, Dan?
Ooh, yeah. Rocket do have their choice of map pick. And it's either going to be Convergence or Convoy. So it's gonna be an interesting thought to figure out which map Rocket do want to, I guess, cover. But I remember in stage 1, the most popular one has been Yggdrasil by a long shot.
Yep,
So
it's
we'll
true.
see if that is the choice for them when we come into map number 2.
I mean, I love a little Arako. I feel like Arako with those teleports being that
Oh,
new map
look at
in
that.
stage 1. But indeed, it's going to be Yggdrasil here, as you see in the graphic down below us. And I believe it's going to be, once again, OEG on the defensive side first, because Rocket University would have chosen attack just to maybe get a little momentum. I honestly still kind of deciding whether or not in a map such as Yggdrasil being attack first or defense first is adequate. I haven't wrapped it around my head, chat. Let me know what you think in the chat below.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting thought to have. Do you want to set the tone off the rip, or do you want to see how you, I guess, play out against your opponent? And that is going to be the big question mark as we head into Yggdrasil. Again, the most popular map in stage 1 here, at least for the Asia region.
Indeed. And us silly casters forgot to talk about it early on during map number 1, but there is a player with basically foreign, either Chinese or Japanese text in their name on the OEG Esports team. They will be going by Ninimu here on cast as the English translation, as we heard from the production team. And so that's what we've been saying, that had been, Ninimu has been so destructive on the Baki. And hey, enough about our yappings in terms of that. We're moving straight into the picks and bans. So far, nothing too spectacular. A bit of a change in pace here. Rocket had locked in their Mantis in that previous map, but now decides to hop onto the Loki instead. A powerful one, especially given that, in a convoy, it's all about that long-term sustain, and that's precisely what a Loki ult can bring.
Yeah, and with the map being so much larger in convoy maps, Loki is just able to cover so much of that area, is able to just provide so much control. And with teammates being able to find refuge with the lamps, it just helps Rocket to stay afloat during these fights. And now, as the draft moves on, OEG are going to take away Ultron from Rocket.
Yeah, Ultron's banner on both sides. They're still sticking with their Captain America ban, so they definitely know something that we don't. Perhaps Little Vex is just too powerful with the Freedom Charge. With Captain America on your side, Fab actually just hovering over it right now might be the hint that we all need. So I'm just blind. I apologize.
Ooh, both sides ban it. They both do
The
ban
right
out
heroes could make all the
the
difference.
Captain America. Both sides also banning out the Ultron, who is very, very strong on both angles, especially on the defensive side. There is that one area right above that little chicane where Ultron can just start jiggle peeking in and out with his left click. And just that position alone is just so strong on the defensive side, and both teams are well aware of that, and they will shut it down before it even starts going.
I'd say that it's also trying to perhaps discourage an Iron Man pick, with the team up and it being providing so much efficacy and healing and damage output for the likes of a good Ultron. The thing about Ultron is like, it's all about that group healing, and with that C being online for the team up with Iron Man, you are able to provide the healing with just a little bit more. But hey, enough of what could have been. What will be is coming up in 14 seconds. A bit of a clash here. Looking at the strats, a 2-2-2, at least for OEG side. Rocket still kind of covering up their meta with some shield building that they're working on behind the scenes. But yep, it's going to be popping off right now with a bit of a mirror matchup Vanguard-wise.
Even if my powers can't repair the time
And
stream,
OEG decided to position a little bit past at least keeping control of that high ground. Nizimu is he's on the Bucky, has a great kidnap going to be used in synergy with the super jump thanks to the Rocket BRB. That's gonna net themselves an early pick.
A huge start from NRX, right? We saw them come alive in map number 1. It's talking about sustain. We need to be able to hold on to this for as long as possible as the cart slowly makes its way around it, dancing on this tower, wanting to get rid of it so they have better line of sight against your enemies.
That's a different adaptation coming in from Rocket, getting rid of that cover that OEG could use, but Fab is having none of it. Will take out NRX as he tries again to diamond form, trying to just disrupt everyone of Rocket. But Rocket, they are down a player, but they will have that player back in no time. They are pretty close to their own spawn. It's just a question of the defensive side. If any of them goes down, they're going to make a long walk back onto the site as Minimu, he's able to find the real Loki of Fish and able to just get free resets with the clone.
Still has the Kraken impact as well, while the Phoenix out comes down. It's gonna be Fab finding Shansin, and once again OEG on cleanup aisle 5 here, holding back the cart from further advancing. Rocket sent back, not the player itself, but the team obviously, though, with a huge stagger onto Winsker at those final seconds.
Yeah, another 5 seconds where Rocket need to wait for the stagger to join up, and they will do so as another push will come in. Fish does have the God of Mischief available. OEG
Your powers are mine!
not quite having their own strategist ultimate to respond to, but Fab will pop the Psionic Seduction.
Yeah, just to zone things out. Hopefully prevent Fish on that Eternal Bond, using that Loki clone to make more space than they could. Now on this back line, the zoning tool coming from the Phoenix onto a bunch of walls. I'm not sure how much value they have, but it's going to be the backline duelist not able to create any value. Hyo finds their pick and finds the disruption against Rocket.
Yeah, not quite sure Windsor being that isolated over there as Sungshin is able to clean up the mess. Will take out Ninimu, but the strangling prison was great for OEG, but it was immediately denied by Fish's lamps.
Indeed, those lamps have been so crucial, but now they're maybe a bit more vulnerable. Rocket wanting to just take a bit more space here. The Luna out now, force made of both worlds being countered at least a little bit with this strangling prison. It's huge! It's huge from the side of RocketUniversity as the KO start. They're forcing back these the offenses away from the portal as well. OEG Esports tried their best to perhaps force a bit of a gamble. Doctor Strange portal, but will get punished for it.
Yeah, and Rocket are just staggering the rest of OEG as they will inevitably secure the first point. School is back in session, ladies and gentlemen. Rocket will find their first point.
Close. 20 seconds, not too shabby. No overtime triggered, which by all accounts and purposes at this level, not too shabby. They're not wanting to stop just yet, right? They have to take every advantage. The hook from NRX doesn't quite land, but it's a tricky one. Just looking at those ultimates, still just taking a bit to build. As well as this high ground, wanting to make sure that, yep, there's going to be forced off. They're doing their best to maintain this map advantage.
Yep, OEG need to find new ground. Wolvex does adjust onto the Magneto as the Psionic Seduction from Fab will be popped with a great stun onto Wolvex. But is it going to matter? Here comes the Eternal Bond from Kjell. as Winsger is also threatening that Phoenix ultimate, but he needs to run to the hills, needs to join up with the team, but he's not going to be able to do so as 2 go down on the side of Rocket.
Yeah, and once again, that Kraken impact already online for a pick-in, coupled with some, with the Phoenix ultimate as well. It just makes them weaken for the taking, right? Right for the picking with some beautiful Kraken impacts. And Rocket sensing this, trying to find a new vulnerability around this corner. Okay, Little Vex just trying to deny the space a little bit more, but those walls from Goose will allow Rocket to venture out.
Yep, those walls are going to get taken out immediately now. Only Sangshin on the point as the rest of the team do file in. But the Meteor finds it, denies the Eternal Bond. It will deny more damage from Winsker as well. Fate of both worlds all but seals the fight in OEG's favor, and they will hold down for just a bit longer.
A bit longer indeed. There goes the final minute announcements. Rocket, 4 ultimates in hand, might be able to make a huge play with perhaps the invisible boundary to start things off. But hey, OEG want to make expensive. They're pressing the issue. They're chipping away at this group wall 2 down as quickly as they can, which is honestly what Sangji is trying to make happen now. Adeline with the silent seduction, just waiting for the perfect time to pop it. Tries to envelop more. Yep, 2 players caught within the silent seduction itself.
The Strangling Prison is going to get followed up, but an immediate trade from OEG. As it's a 2 for 2 in the end, and then it starts lighting up blue again. And again is what Ninimu says as he Kraken impacts the rest of Rocket back to spawn.
4 seconds. I see the Doctor Strange portal. They're able to touch. The overtime is triggered as well, but they're being enveloped from all corners. Now it's going to be Bucky on Bucky! And it's going to be finding the pick, as well as their ultimate being popped online, but doesn't able to pull up with any more KOs.
Yeah, thanks to the Eternal Bond, but look at the cleanup coming in from OEG. Rocket, it looked like they had a chance to keep this site going, but just like that, blink and you miss it. It'll be OEG holding off Rocket for a 1.5 points.
1.5 Cart stalled in that middle of that second leg here in Yggdrasil. Not too bad. Not great, not good, Not great, not bad. That's what I meant to say. Not great, not bad is middle ground, as you would imagine, on leg 2. So once again, it will have to be now up to Rocket to figure out what they want to do here on the flip.
Yep, and now, back to the drawing board. Now OEG on the defensive side. We'll see if there's any adaptations, any funny picks, if you will, coming in for OEG or Rocket. But for now, Rocket on the defensive side. So far, nothing too crazy happening here. Ninimu on the Black Widow. See if he's able to find an early pick while staying in the safety of spawn. If there's anyone playing around that high ground, Ninimu should be able to land some chip damage there.
Yeah, a change in pace for Rocket, right? They're rocking the triple strategist. They've got the Karmic Revival perhaps online. They're just employing Nyx to use those right clicks and hopefully get a few of their own before, coming back to save the rest of the team as and when necessary, which, might be the game plan here.
Oh my gosh. Is RocketUniversity actually going to use the mascot in the defensive side? It looks like the answer will be yes. Fish rocking the mascot of their own team. Will that be the difference here as a great hook comes in from Ninimu, but that spells his demise as Rocket comes in swinging.
Swinging indeed. I saw the pull from Bucky. I was like, oh, Ninimu's gonna get them again. But hey, he instant switch on to Wolverine as a counter to the group. Is a smart one. Adaptability is, hey, how deep is your hero pool at the moment? And now they're worried. They're worried about the Feral League following the Wolverine. They're backing up, repositioning, trying to make sure they don't caught off by a kidnap.
Yeah, and great opener coming in for Rocket, but Adeline dangerously low. Winsker is going to get stunned up, kidnapped as Sentinel. changing over to the Moon Knight. That's the Strangling Prison. It's going to find a lot of members. That's the hand of Khonshu. Shuts down Rocket, but the BRB will help. But Sentinel does not stop. He is just going to throw so much chakrams, so much hurt, so much AoE damage. As everyone on Rocket are just falling to pieces.
I saw the mascot go down as well. Fish unfortunately could not make it any further, and so hops onto the Invisible Woman instead. Perhaps a bit more value, as we already see the terrain being remolded for their liking, wanting to maybe open things up. They have the advantage. They want to press it a little bit more.
Mortal might be used.
Yeah, especially with this Feral Leap, as well as the last stand already online for Wolverine. That might be huge. Okay, teleport into move around this corner and try and contest this site once again.
Right, that portal angle, they realize that the tower is still up and they're going to use it to their own advantage as the Meteor M is going to be used. NRX popping the Karmic Revival will bring Fish back into the fight with the Eternal Bond. I don't think there is any ultimate that is going to shut down that Cloak and Dagger ultimate, but it looks like the hand of Khonshu yet again online and ready to go, and so is the rest of OEG as they are looking to clean up house and take first point.
What a different look, right, from OEG Esports, running triple duelist as well, just to bring the firepower and crack open whatever defenses and whatever healing that Rocket have. Now they're on to the second leg. The last stand not even burned during that last team fight, and so that's another one in the pocket for themselves as they bring the card ever so closer towards their winning moment.
If Ninimu is able to get a multi-man last stand right now, that is going to be all the difference. But look at the meter up at the top of your screen. They're getting so damn close to getting that second point, that second map win. But Winsker has something to say about it, is able to find one. A pull coming in from Fish will keep OEG's front line into the fight, into the fray. As the last stand is going to be used, but great response, great heal coming in from RocketUniversity as Kraken Impact will be used as well. A kidnap on the side of OEG, trying to do something to keep his team afloat as Ninimu is able to find Adeline. That's one Vanguard down, one member of Rocket down as the Eternal Bond is going to be used. Invincible Boundary is going to be used in the response, and everyone on Rocket just dumping everything into the kitchen sink as OEG will do the same.
The Hail Mary effort, they need to pull everything back. The Silent Seduction, the Fate of Both Worlds coming out from Sui to sustain the remaining players of OEG, which are making damage. It's mincemeat on the side of Rocket. And lo and behold, 2-1, they're pushed past that second leg check mark, and it goes to OEG.
OEG with a 2-0 victory over RocketUniversity. It was tough, it was labored, but OEG find the 2-0 win in the end. What a series this was.
What a series indeed. MVP going to Sui, rocking that Luna Snow. Honestly, a person after my own heart as a Luna Snow main. I mean, that was beautifully done from the side of OEG. They kind of knew what they needed to do, and running that triple duelist just meant, if you can survive long enough, the regen from the Wolverine as well as that Bucky able to escape out of tough situations with a well-placed shift click. I mean, these are the plays to keep your duelists alive but still have enough pressure being applied onto your opponents.
Oh, this OEG just finding so many opportunities to just claw their way back into these fights. There were so many times where Rocket just seemed like they had the upper hand. They had the initiation, they had their opportunities to go for the knockouts, go for those eliminations, go for the advantage, but OEG just able to respond near perfectly.
Indeed, near perfectly indeed. I mean, we talk about ultimate utilization and ultimate countering, and I think, if you don't overheat in this situation, unlike the regular player who sees, oh, all my teammates are throwing ultimates, I should press Q2. And when you do that, you burn one too many ultimates and you're left with a deficit moving out into the next team fight. That's precisely how you don't manage to sustain that long-term effort. And OEG have it on lock, right? Just like previous teams to come, here we go into those replays. We're seeing these picks come out so beautifully done. The Strangling Prison was instantly countered with some beautiful lamp play. I mean, this is top-notch gaming at its finest.
Oh yeah, and like you talked about, and in many of these games, time and time again, resource management being the key difference between these teams. Are you able to use enough to take over a winning fight? And you also have to realize, when is it a waste? When is it overkill to use some of these ultimates? And that is something that both teams, actually every team, really needs to get on lock, as OEG shows us that they do, in fact, have that on lock.
Indeed. And right off the bat, we talked about how deep some of these players have in terms of the heroes they can pick and choose from. Their pockets run deep, right off the bat on the attack side, when OEG were trying to press the issue, trying to leave their own attacker spawn, Ninimu was playing Baki, I think, was zoned out immediately by an enemy group, went back, okay, hop onto a Wolverine, change of plan. They're that fluid. That fluidity is perfect, right? You can't be stuck on your ways to say, no, you have to keep trying. When it doesn't work, you gotta switch up.
Yeah, and they also adjusted to the Moon Knight as well, just having that extra AoE, realizing that everyone on Rocket really likes to play together. They really like to play front and back, and Moon Knight was a good answer to just break through that first line of defense, and we're just able to just keep that momentum going. And this adjustment coming in from OEG, great to see from them, and that will pay dividends later down in this tournament as well.
Indeed. It's always important to get a bit of a leg up, especially when your fellow competitors here in Group B are the likes of Reject and Gen G. I mean, champions from the last, the last stage as well. Rocket University unfortunately walk away with a bit of L, but hey, still good news for you. There's a lot to have to go through here. I see you NRX, right? Starting things pretty hot when the barrier drops and able to get some early picks within the maps, but unfortunately the long-term sustain isn't quite there, and we definitely need a bit more of that.
Yeah, and like you said, it's still early. This was the first match out of Group B, where OEG will take 2-0 win, but yeah, a lot of time, a lot of chances to come back, although you are in a bit of a pickle when it comes to Group B, when you have two titans, two favorites of Reject and Gen G inside that same group. Keep in mind, in stage 1, they were in opposite groups, and now they're in the same. So it might make these open qualifier teams just a little bit harder to make it into playoffs. Indeed.
And it's going to be very interesting indeed. I think we should just be waiting for interviews, hopefully, for the winning team. So chat, if you have anything you'd like to ask, put it in the chat. We'll see if we can squeeze those in. But hey, kudos to once again OEG for keeping cool, calm, and collected throughout this entire time. The bans against that Captain America was interesting, right? We saw that come out both maps, both teams as well. So it's basically 4 bans against a Captain America, which, like you called it, is a very good sustain. So falling back to the double shields, that is Magneto plus Emma Frost, is obviously a safe bet.
Yeah, and the Captain America with the Freedom Charge is just so strong, right? It's almost as if you have a third strategist ultimate just on a Vanguard, right? It's just the amount of bonus health it provides for the team is just so much that it's just enough to stall out the entire fight and just allow the rest of your team to get those key ultimates online and going. And it just creates that neutral zone where both players, assuming that they have Captain America, are just waiting for the right moment, waiting for these ultimates to get charged up, and both teams realizing that it's too strong, they will both be taken away.
Both be taken away indeed. You know what I just thought about? I just remembered that the last match, they actually both decided to lock in Phoenix. And no, Human Torch, that is Johnny Flame. And they didn't run it at all. I like this, you know. I think we don't think about misdirection enough. We don't think about using picks or secures of heroes more in the sense that, hey, I want to use it as a misdirection. I know that some people use bans as a misdirection. It forces out a ban. It forces out a ban on the other team if I choose a certain composition on my side, and I think it's very smart. I like to see more of that 100%.
Yeah, both, like, yeah, we that's definitely a tactic that we don't touch up very often, where you do lock in a hero threatening that you're going to use it, but then lo and behold, you never use it. So just that mind games that we were seeing, that the amount of depth that goes into these considerations when it comes to these picks and bans and locks, which is honestly a very, very nice touch to keep this title unique, keep Marvel Rivals with its own identity. And we'll see how more of these teams adjust to that, because this is a very different form of draft that we've seen from other titles.
It is indeed. And just also a quick reminder for everyone that, you know, this tournament, at least for this week, is still running that season 3.5 patch, but will transition to the 4.0 patch next week, which is, again, very interesting, right? Like, I feel like it asks for a lot of preparation from the players and the coaches to say, hey, no, this week we need to focus on this particular composition and this particular game plan, but next week we're going to have different lineups, different team ups, as well as different hero changes as well. So I think that's very interesting to see. But we've just gotten word, enough of our yapping, just gotten word from our production that we will be starting interviews, at least for the OEG esports side. It's of course the recent MVP themselves, Sui, who's been rocking that Luna Stowe, who will be joining us very shortly indeed.
Yeah, Sui putting on an absolute show here in this tournament.
Hey.
And look at who it is. There he is. How are you feeling after that win?
Like, for the first match to be participating in Marvel Rivals Ignite again.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and, you know, for those who are unaware, Sui actually came from Alan TR back in stage 1 and brought along, you know, Midstar as well. And you're playing actually alongside other team members who you fought against, right? Hayo from Marvel Vietnam, Onse from O2 Blast. How does it feel to kind of almost like the Avengers style, just assemble this crew for a bit of a victory here?
Yeah, so like being able to get the opportunity to play with other players from the tournament also widen my perspective on how they understand and what they know about the game. So it's actually a good start to learn more and be better playing Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, and as far as I know, throughout that entire match, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of adjustments coming in. Were these picks premeditated? Were you ready to have these preset compositions beforehand, or was it just something like on the fly where it's like, hey, I think this character is really good right now. Do we want to play around it, or was it just something like already planned out?
The comp that we play is actually one of the things we plan and practice a bit to get the understanding for ourselves, and also when the enemies are playing it themselves too.
Very nice, very nice. It's obviously, it lends to the amount of preparation y'all do in the background. And speaking of preparation, I'm looking ahead for you folks. In a couple of days, you will be up against Reject. right? On day 3, which is like 48 hours from now. Do you have anything to say to your future opponents?
So to my future opponent, I hope we play our best and get one of the best games possibly if we can to like be broadcast for the people to watch. Good quality Marvel Rivals, yeah.
We love a good civil matchup, and yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that'll be it for us from this interview. Sui, thank you so much for joining us. Go celebrate with your team, and we will see you in future matches. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Beautifully done. I mean, you gotta be you can feel the confidence brewing just a little bit. You feel, okay, that question